Can you hold on a second? I have call waiting. Knock it off. I know it's you. Sorry about that.
I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. And thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
Well. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. As you could tell from the time that this show is beginning, there's something a little bit different about the show today. It's not your usual insomniac kind of weirdness that you're gonna get on my normal programming. But believe me, it might get a little weird here. We don't know yet. We'll see where this goes. You know, Bueller could be weird sometimes. But we could definitely stretch it for prime time, but we'll try to keep it as PG as possible. It's not going to be insomniac time, but I'm really happy that I see a lot of people already jumping into the chat. I'm going to say a couple of hellos really quick. Hello, Brian. Hello, John Stout. Hello, Dracula. This is a little early for the children of the night, but it is what it is. I'm sorry, I did not wear a picnic shirt for Bueller. Okay, I'm sorry. I wore a nice shirt so I don't distract everybody from Bueller. Hello, Fire Guy Ryan. Good evening. We got Two Gun Pedro, and K-pop and GT Key Comic and wherever else is in here. So just letting you guys know, this is what's going to happen today. This is going to be a direct one-on-one format that I'm going to be interviewing tonight. We're going to be doing Comics with Bueller, and then going forward, whoever else is going to be on the show. Fortunately, Bueller was kind enough to accept my invitation. Here's the thing. No matter what anybody says, he was my first choice. He was, I wanted him to be the first person on the show. Why? Because I like him. You know what I'm saying? I like him. And he's been a friend to the show in the past. So why not start with Bueller? That's how it goes. Okay? So I'm going to save all the questions towards the end of the show. I'll be running everybody in as far as I'll be looking at it. I'll highlight some comments as we're going on, but I'm going to do the one-on-one and then we're going to move forward. But with that being said, Let's not delay. Everybody's here for him, not me. Well, I don't know. We'll see who they're here for. Maybe they're here for the local Kool-Aid man. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe they're here for the Kool-Aid man. I'm not quite sure yet, but everybody's here for a reason. We'll find out what that reason is soon enough. And without any further ado, good evening, Bueller. Good
hello,
evening,
hello.
Bueller. See, I didn't do the generic. I didn't do the generic thing. I didn't do the generic thing. I didn't call you out, Bueller. 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 I didn't do it. I didn't do Bueller. I didn't do it.
You're doing it right now.
No,
You're doing it.
no, I guess I am. I guess I am.
Yeah, I got to say real quick to the people in the chat. It's nice to see everyone in the chat. It's nice to be able to say that there's so many people in the chat I've actually met in person and hung out with, and it's always nice to see them in there as well. So to you in there in the chat that I've met in person and shared some time with, great times to be had. Good friends. So,
well, is that truth about everybody, or are you just being nice to everybody?
no, I'm being like Two Gun Pedro. I know him personally. I've met him in person. Ryan, John Stout, spent time with them. All those people, good people. John Stout's one of my best friends.
They're very good. There you go. There you go.
There's Riley. I've spent many nights with that guy playing dominoes. Love that guy.
Playing dominoes.
Yeah, we have a good time.
Okay, nothing else. We weren't playing anything else.
No, just drinking and.
All right, I'm just making sure there's no expose that we're going to pull out here. It's a little different. Any kind of. All right, I got to keep my mind straight. This is about comics. This is about comic community. This is not Insomniac. You know.
That's true.
I see you drinking a cup of coffee. What kind of coffee are you drinking?
It's a hazelnut blend from my daughter's house. So whatever she got. So I'm waiting on my order from Comics on Coffee. Should be here tomorrow at my daughter's house, and then I will be all restocked on my Comics and Coffee DC goodness.
No. Well, I'm drinking in honor of you a cup of coffee. It's an iced coffee. Yeah, it's not manly. It's my.
I like iced coffee.
You know, this is my my thing. It has 4 shots of espresso in it.
Nice.
Because I need to be amped up. So I'm amped up for this. We're ready to go. We're ready to gear. I hope everybody in the chat actually knows Bueller. His name is Travis.
Yeah.
Secret. We're not going to tell anybody. I'll only stay within this chat. His name is Travis.
Yeah, it's a big secret.
I just like to call him Bueller, though. So, you know, it sticks, you know, Bueller.
Yeah.
It sticks. Let's give a little bit of introduction to you as far as who you are and how you got into this. For anybody that's a newbie, anybody that's a newcomer to the community, that way they know how did you get into this hobby? How did you start this whole YouTube, Instagram, social media insanity that we're all involved in?
Well, I wasn't involved with any of it until I started doing it. I didn't really watch anything or have like an Instagram or nothing like that. Basically, it'll be my 5-year anniversary next month as far as being on YouTube. And I would say 5.5 years ago, I'd probably say about 3 months before I started doing YouTube is when I got back into comics after about a 20-year hiatus of not buying any comics for 20 years. And a friend of mine, Damon, a longtime friend, said, "Hey, there's a comic shop that opened up down the street from your house. I remember you used to like comics when we were growing up." I was like, "Yeah, I'll go check it out. I'm not doing nothing." And so I went to this comic shop called Comic Adventure and walked in there, and probably the first comic shop I'd been in probably 20 years. And just the smell of the comics. And then they had a 50-cent room in the back, and I went back there and purchased like $10 worth of comics, you know, and they're just all stuff I used to have from the 80s. And took them home and looked them over, and then typed in comic books on YouTube and watched a few videos from Luther Manning, I think was a video. Metarog, I believe I saw one of his. And then I was like, oh, I can make a video. And then a couple days later, I made a video and then went and bought more comics. And then it kind of snowballed really quickly. It's like I got my first 1,000 subscribers, and this is back 5 years ago, when it was really hard to get 1,000 subscribers. But I ended up having that within like 4 months, and which was at the time just like unheard of. And but I made some interesting videos that people kind of locked onto, and
Especially in this niche. This niche is very hard to get those subs.
yeah, and it's easier now because I think that there's a bigger audience on YouTube for it. But back then, you could count the amount of comic book YouTube channels that had over 1,000 on one hand, and so it happened for me very quickly. And once I realized that, hey, this is something I can do and enjoy doing, and make money and pay my bills, and take care of my family and stuff like that. I kind of went all out for it and kind of did research on what works and what doesn't, and treated it like a business, but a fun business, more like a career for me. And honestly, and I've said this before, it saved my life. If I wouldn't have found this YouTube or got that comics, I probably wouldn't have lasted much longer. I was just sitting on the couch wasting away for maybe the last 6 or 7 years before that. Didn't have a job, burden to my family, nothing on the horizon, and waiting for disability to kick in, and nothing was going on. I was just sitting there playing video games almost 18 hours out of the day, and I couldn't even tell you what day it was most of the time. So without this, and without finding this community and giving myself purpose, I don't know where I would have been, to be honest. So I consider doing this YouTube and being a part of this community. I've said this before. I honestly believe it saved my life, and it gave me purpose, and gave me a way to leave my mark, because I thought to myself, I don't want this to be it. I'm not done. I don't want to just sit here and get disability. And, that's my life now, and that's what I do for the next 20, 30 years. And I was like, I don't want that to be it. I don't want my kids to just say, that's just dad, he's just on disability and stuff. I wanted to leave a mark. I wanted to make a difference. And this was an opportunity to do that. And that's why I take it pretty seriously. And I've gotten a chance to live my dream. So not a bad deal. So thank you to my friend that told me about that comic shop. So
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Exactly where you are, and where you were in your life, and where I was, and where I am in my life, as far as getting involved in the community.
mm-hmm.
It's a little bit different, but the roots are kind of the same. And I feel that there's a lot of other people out there as well.
Yeah.
I say this all the time, that a lot of times when we do things here on social media, or when we're doing streaming, and we're like what we're doing right now, we're having a nice conversation. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of bullshit right now,
mm-hmm.
Talk about things, have a nice conversation. And basically we're going to kind of do a little bit of therapy for each other.
Okay.
I look at it like that in a lot of different ways. And no joking aside, I think all this is therapeutic for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Being able to talk, be able to vent, be able to do things in this fashion kind of gives an outlet for people where sometimes they're a little bit like inverted. They basically have no outlet. They're a little shy. They have nobody to talk to. They have now a goal and purpose. Comic books. This is the hobby that's pulling them in. And I like the fact that you kind of went in that direction, because I wasn't sure if I was going to dive into that, but it is a really, really good thing for people to understand.
Yeah,
a very friendly community.
I agree. It's people you have a common interest in, and it's an easy icebreaker. It's easy to talk to someone that you have a common interest in, because you always have something to talk about, and there's never really a dull moment. There's not a lot of empty space when you're friends with a fellow collector, or you make friends with a collector. There's tons to talk about, and people bond really quick. So I mean, that's pretty much what mine was. It's like within a few weeks when I started, I made a whole bunch of new friends that had something in common with, and then as these 5 years have gone on, I have friends all over the world, and people I talk to on a weekly basis or just catch up with. And it's all because of just, clicking that record button and posting this a little video on YouTube. So it's been like I said, a life-changing decision for me. And I honestly, people said, is there anything you do different? I said, yeah, I want to start doing this 10 years ago instead of 5 years ago. And, I've been very blessed. And all my time I've spent either at my house doing videos or on the road, just getting a chance to meet everyone and do this and like make a living out of it. It's like, give me a break. It doesn't get much better. So I'm very, very humbled by it, to be honest.
It's a funny way how this community finds a way to unite. When they're all happy about stuff, they're all united. They're all doing the kumbaya. We're all like cheering for each other, that kind of thing. And then when something happens that gives you a little bit of controversy and drama, everybody again gets together and starts throwing the stones together. So it's a very inclusive type of community where, we're going to support you or we're going to bury you simultaneously. So everybody gets together. And on that note, we'll get it since we're kind of going into that. I was going to leave this for a little bit later, but now since we're kind of like easing into this, let's talk about the controversy.
I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
Oh, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, influencer. You're an influencer.
Yep.
You're an influencer. So, we're going to talk about a little bit about your influence, and we're also going to talk about the whatnot influence and how the influence of whatnot did not influence you in a good way.
I get it. Yeah.
Okay. So everybody that does know you, obviously seen the videos you talked about your experience with whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's kind of self-explanatory. They basically put together a contract with you that it doesn't look like it was malicious towards you, but it seems like it was negligent as far as not really doing everything they could.
Yeah.
And putting in the best effort.
There is definitely room for improvement. Let's put it to you that way. There's a lot of room for that. And I think they would admit to that. I don't think nobody's disputed what I said. You know what I'm saying? I haven't gotten any phone calls like that's not the case. That's not what happened. There's nothing to dispute what I said. I mean, everything I said was truthful and honest. They know that. That's why you haven't heard any response or nothing. It's just.
Well, what are they really going to do? Dispute? Like it's pretty self-evident as far as them not taking the extra effort to. The funny thing is, I was listening to your video, and then I listened to the other one as well, where you're doing your Q&A, and the one thing that kept recurring in my mind, it felt like a new company that still hasn't understood how to do business yet.
I would agree with that. Or they're learning.
Yeah.
On the
so they did not protect their investment the way they should have, because I believe that you were an investment for them. That bus was an investment for them, and they dropped the ball and lost a great opportunity to be able to make money off of that.
Yeah.
Yes, they're going to make money off of you. You're going to make money. Everybody's going to make money. Yes, everybody's using each other, people. That's the way the world works. Businesses use the workers use the businesses, independent contractors do use everything. That's just how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
So I found it very disturbing, the fact that they literally had a literal bus that was running around from one side of the country to the other with their logo plastered on there, and they never went out there to actually take a look at it in person.
Yeah.
That flabbergasted me when you said it. Like, I know that you talk about that a little bit. Like, I know that it bothered you, but tell me, like,
yeah, I mean that's what
as a business person, wouldn't you do that if you were in their place? Wouldn't you want to go and take a look at what you paid for?
I would think so, and that's really what bothered me. And that's not written down in a contract or nothing like that, but it's just like a common courtesy. I would think that it's like, hey, the bus is outside. I drove all the way here from Portland to Florida. Do you want to come take a look at it? And oh yeah, we'll go take a look in a little bit and take some pictures or promote it. Great. The weekend goes by and nothing happens. Go to another con, same thing. Hey, I'm here. What do you want me to do? Oh, that's great. Well, come see it, and nothing happens. So after like 3 or 4 of those, you're like, okay, I guess it's not that big of a deal to them anymore. Maybe not as much as it was at the beginning, because there's bigger fish in play or whatnot. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, and that's a personal thing, that's not not everyone would feel that way. Some people would be like, oh, whatever, they're busy. But it bothered me a little bit that they didn't at least come out and take a look at it, because it's their wrap. I mean, they've seen it. They saw the pictures when they got done, and the company sent them the pictures of the bus, so they know what it looks like, to get the final approval. But for them not to, for none of them to come outside and look at it, and you're talking about a group of 30 whatnot employees at the booth, and for not one of them to come out and, oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, that kind of stung a little bit, and kind of was like, oh, what I come here for, or what, so yeah, and I made that known. I told them, and stuff. So I don't know.
I don't even look at that as an insult to you. I really don't. I don't even look at it as an insult to you. I see it as just, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't even make sense. Now, here's the other thing that I thought about. You did mention that, I hope you don't feel uncomfortable about talking about financials, but you did mention that you had contracted for approximately $1,000 a month. Some bonuses might have been involved. Some of the variants that were included as far as your package, so to say.
Yeah.
Plus the fact that they wrapped the bus. I would say the bus would probably cost them $3,000 to wrap.
I think it was about 9,000.
Was it 9,000? Wow.
I mean, I don't know for sure, but I asked the guys that were doing it. I said, how much is this costing? And they kind of floated a number out there, but I don't know for sure. I never saw an actual.
They got ripped off. Jose down the block from me. He could do it for about $1,500.
Yeah, maybe I don't know, but that's the kind of a number I heard, but I can't honestly verify it. But I have no reason to think it's something different. So,
they basically. All right. Let's say 9,000.
Sure.
So let's say approximately $25,000 of a roundabout investment is what they made in there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a company of that size, this is my thought process, of that size, that's a drop in the bucket for them.
Yeah,
I would think that's a drop in the bucket, because I was actually shocked. I thought you would have worked. Next time you negotiate, we're gonna have to talk. I gotta help you out with that. We're good.
Yeah.
I seemed you got it was less than what I would expected, and I'm sure there was a lot of people out there that would expected more.
Yeah.
No,
I've heard that a few times that I do tend to undervalue myself, just because for most of my sponsors I've worked with, they're like mom and pop companies, and I'm trying not to, I want to make it easier for them to be on board and stuff like that, because I know it's just a small business. So with a bigger business with whatnot, I probably did undervalue myself a little bit, and that's something I just need to learn how to do, or have other people involved that are more business minded when it comes to that. And I've actually had people reach out to me and say, hey, I'll help you. I'm a lawyer. Your next contracts will help you look over and get your true value. So the best thing for me to do is to have someone help me with something like that. It's something I'm not a professional in that area by any means. So if I get people to help me, that's great.
Well, I'll tell you something from outside of looking in, and from somebody that, I negotiate all day for a living. I'm not sure if you know what I do for a living other than rant and rave on YouTube and harass
I thought that's all you did was the rant.
No. I actually have to do something to actually pay for my bills, and that's real estate. So I sell real estate. I manage properties, etc., that kind of thing. So all I'm doing is negotiating all day. So from my perspective and looking at you drove around the freaking country with their name plastered on a bus.
Which I'm still doing, by the way.
Yeah. And by the way, did you have it in your contract that they're responsible to pay to have it removed?
No, I don't think that's in there.
See,
yeah, you're right.
This is the way Journey's brain works. I think my wheels.
I needed some Journey knowledge on my contract there.
My brain is wired very differently as far as. But listen, you know what the thing is? I'm used to people screwing me all the time in contracts. So I need to read it and read it and read it and read it and read it again. And when I'm done reading it, then I give it to somebody else to read it for me as well.
Sure.
So That's kind of the way I look at things. I personally think you were underpaid, but that's not their fault. That's kind of a little bit on you because you
Yeah,
could ask for more.
yeah. No, I
So
would say you're right. Like I said, people have told me I think I do undervalue myself and what I bring to the table, and I think there's some truth in that. And I think going forward, I will, if I have bigger contracts with companies that can afford to do some stuff, I'm not gonna go in there empty handed. I'm gonna go in there with someone on my side and get my what the value is for both parties, because I want it to be beneficial for them and obviously beneficial for me as well. So
yeah, so lesson learned. So we know from now on, read the contracts and make sure that you get you get your value. Look at
yeah,
it like that. You know, you are a very valuable Bueller. People, you're a hot commodity.
I appreciate that, buddy.
There is something. Listen, you have what 25,000 subs right now, more or less.
We're like 100 away, so we're getting there.
No, more or less. That's basically you have. Okay, there's some value in that.
Yeah,
That alone.
and that's originally why they approached me, because of my audience. Then the bus came later, and then that's when they really approached me, because the first few times they approached me, I didn't announce the bus yet, and I said no, I'm not interested in stuff like that. But they were obviously wanting to get my audience, which is what they're doing with everyone they're trying to sign and stuff. They want their audience, and then once they heard about the bus, they're like, oh, that's really cool. We definitely want to be a part of that. And so that's when I sat down and talked to them and said, okay, let's talk. So, but that I knew at that point when I had the bus, I didn't have to sign a contract where I'd be selling all the time. I knew the bus had value, and having them put their logo on the bus, that's what my contract was about. It wasn't about me getting on there and saying, hey, buy these books, because I didn't want to do that. And I told them that up front. I said, I don't want to be a seller. That's not my thing. They're like, well, can you do maybe one a month? I said, yeah, I can do one a month. But that's about it. So it worked out.
So how do you feel that, like, now, since we're on that, as far as you not having to sell or having just a slight committal to say sell or whatnot, we just said that you had approximately 25,000 people on YouTube, but that didn't really translate well onto whatnot for you as far as your following and the
Sure.
amount of people that came into your shows. I actually went in a couple of your
Yeah.
whatnot sales, and I saw it was not the same kind of activity that you see the other influencers
Yeah.
getting. Why do
Yeah.
you think that was the case? Why did you not see a lot of that transfer over and translate?
My best guess, honestly, I think my audience could tell my heart wasn't in it. And that might sound kind of weird, but when I was doing my whatnot auctions, and I only did a handful of them, I just was like, when I started doing them to the end of the show, I was like, let's just get this over with, you know. And I think that translated on the screen, as opposed to my YouTube videos when I enjoying myself, and having a good time. And I think that might have had a little bit of it. And, I don't know. I think maybe a lot of audience probably did go over to whatnot, but that doesn't translate into them going to my auctions, because I'm not known as a seller. So it's like, they might have saw my video and I promoted whatnot, and then they went over and looked at some other stuff, and that's what they were looking forward to doing. But I'm not known as a seller. They're like, oh, what does Bueller have to sell this week? That's not, nobody asked that question, as opposed to some of my other friends who do whatnot, who are very well known as selling books or having exclusives and doing all this stuff. They're expected to do that, so they find an audience better. Like very Gary is a dealer. Okay, I don't know him very well. I've only met him once, but people know him as a dealer and has these books that he sells all the time. His audience would obviously translate easier over to that platform because they're used to that's what he does, as opposed to me, who I've done maybe less than 10 auctions on my YouTube channel in 5 years. I'm not known as a seller. I'm known as the guy just likes to talk about comics. So if
Well,
I'm,
why do you think your heart isn't into it? Like, even though you said that a lot of times, as far as your heart's not into it, is it you feel uncomfortable selling the books to somebody else, or what is it that's like giving you that sense of uncomfort? Because you have no problem buying comics from somebody and giving you their money.
yeah, that's a good question. And I don't really know if I have an answer. I think I've sold so many books over the years. When I first was collecting and I did shows and I did all that stuff. And it's not like I buy a lot of books to sell. I don't buy to sell. And a lot of people buy to sell. And for me, I buy to have in my collection to read and stuff like that. So I don't have like all these books laying around for sale, unless I decide, hey, I want to sell my collection and drive around in the bus. That's a different story. But for the most part, the books I have in my collection, they're there for a reason. They're not there to sell. So that's probably why I look at it. It's like it's just not for me. There's plenty of people selling books,
Yeah, of course.
and they do a great job. And I don't need to be a seller. There's plenty of opportunities for everyone else to go get some. And everyone is a buyer. Everyone is a buyer, but not everybody is a seller.
Very true. Well, it also takes a certain set of skills
Yeah,
to be able to sell. You got to sell yourself. Listen, one not is a different animal together. It's a circus. You
that's
got
it's fast. It's a little fast paced for me, and I
you,
like taking my time and enjoying my audience and and stuff like that. But for some people, it's the perfect pace for them and stuff, and they do very well.
like I'm not gonna shy with the fact that I've sold on whatnot and that kind of thing, but I'm doing it as a goof. We were talking about this offline a little while ago.
Yeah,
Like I would go on play my music. Now they took away my music, so I don't even
I
have
heard
that
about
joy. I don't even have that. Like I would play my weird ass new wave music, and just like you want to buy it, buy it. If you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. But I would just do it to get rid of stuff because I had too much stuff. And I
Yeah,
still got too much stuff because I'm a hoarder. But and I basically would put some hot chick in a bikini holding up a comic as my thumbnail, and people would come in. I mean, that's what it is.
I saw it. I watched a few of them.
That's how I would get people to come in.
Yeah,
I'm like a nobody on whatnot, but all of a sudden I get a good room because like
yeah. You
people are
never
like,
know.
what is this weird guy out there? He's giving away stuff. He's got bikini chicks on the thumbnail. He's got some books that are decent on there. All right. But I would have fun. I would amuse myself during it. I don't find it that amusing anymore.
Yeah,
Maybe if they structure it in a different way, I'll find it more fun again.
sure.
But I'm not gonna say I'm done with it, but it seems like you're done with it right now. Like, are you completely done with doing whatnot? Is that
Yeah, I told you earlier I deleted the app. I don't really have any use for it. I never bought anything on there. I did a handful of auctions. I've officially told Whatnot I don't want to do business with them anymore. But I said it very professionally and stuff. I thanked them for the opportunity they gave me, and I said going forward, I don't think it's a good fit. And I mean, they said that maybe they'd have something to want to talk again in February, and I said no, thank you. I said, it's just for me right now, it's not a good fit, and I'm moving on. And wish them the best of luck. And a lot of people use Whatnot and do really well, and a lot of comic shops are open today because of Whatnot. And I've said that before, and I've seen it in person because I've traveled to these comic shops and talked to them, and I think that's great. I
Oh,
think
it's a great tool.
yeah, I
It,
think if people know how to use the tool the right way in a respectable way, and the people that have done that have done very well, and I'm very happy that they have, because if a comic shop can keep their doors open because they started doing Whatnot, sign me up. I'm all for it.
for somebody that's doing this full time, that has a shop, or even doesn't have a shop and does like the pop-ups and in the conventions and stuff like that, or sells online only exclusively, it'd be foolish for them not to utilize it. It really
Absolutely.
would. It's a great tool that's available to them. They could actually amplify their business because
Yeah.
of it, and they could do really, really well. So it's foolish. But you know where I saw that was really evident that you lost your joy for it and the joy for selling it? When you finally got your exclusive in your hands,
Yeah.
and you finally are selling. I remember I purchased one off of the whatnot, and
Sure.
I saw you didn't have that like anytime somebody gets it, and you were different in previous exclusives that you had.
Yeah.
Anybody that gets an exclusive normally is like super amped up. They're super excited about it. They're
Yeah.
super like they're like, I can't wait for you to get it in your hands, kind of thing. And you kind of like, I felt almost like you're like worn out. You were done by that point.
It's like, the first exclusive that we did, that Whatnot did for me, and I want to think, I've said they paid for everything. So, I mean, I don't want people to think that they didn't do some good things for me, because they did, but they paid for everything, the printing, the artist and everything. The first exclusive that we did was the Ninja Caden #1 from Black Box Comics. And they said, hey, you can keep all the copies. They gave me 300 copies. They said, you can do what you want. These are the Bueller Bus exclusives. They were going to promote them and all that stuff. None of that stuff really happened, which is fine. But at that point, I decided, you know what? Since everybody got paid, the publisher, the artist and stuff, I'm just going to give them away. I don't care. And I'll be the one who gives away his exclusives. And that was the plan, somewhat, for the Ninja Funk book as well. But they sent me 1,500 copies instead of 300. And some of the shinies and the medals and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I need to at least sell some of these, because I need to replenish some money for the bus fund and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, once you sit there and you're selling the same thing over and over and over, I was like, God, this sucks, I mean, maybe the first 2 that I sold, I was pretty happy, but then I have to sell another, 100 copies of the same damn thing. And I'm like, oh, I'd much rather just make a post on my, Instagram and say, hey, they're for sale. Whoever wants them, come get them. And that's what I've done before. Just send me an email. I'll send you a copy. But going on Whatnot and having to pitch the same book, for 5 straight nights, I'm like, oh God,
It's exhausting.
It is exhausting. I mean, like I said, even on that one, they paid for it as well. So my hat's off to them to paying for it. And the artist got paid, and the publisher, well, they're the publisher, but the creators and they all got paid. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, I was like, I still have probably about 1,000 of them, and you don't hear me say nothing about them. They're sitting in my storage unit in Portland right now.
Oh, you still have a lot of them left?
Oh yeah, I have I don't have any of the medals. I think I have one on hold for somebody that I've held for like a month for some reason, and then I have a couple dented copies of the metal ones that somebody sent back, and then I have maybe 5 or 6 of the shiny ones somewhere in a box, and then probably a good 1,000 of the regular trade dress and versions that are sitting in a storage unit in Portland. And I'm just giving those away. I don't care anymore. I go to a comic shop. Here's 10 copies of the Ninja Funk, Comics with Bueller exclusive. Thanks, or anyone in the comic shop. I just give them out. I don't sell them.
Maybe you should start wiping your forehead with them and giving them out with Bueller sweat on them, and maybe people would pay a premium.
It's called Bueller Bus Funk is what that
there
is.
You go. You give a little bit of Bueller musk, and then people will pay a premium for that. But all joking aside, I mean, I get it. I saw the frustration in your face as far as what that whole situation was, and everybody saw the whole like little tongue-in-cheek kind of scavenger hunt for them on Instagram previously to you actually receiving them. And it's frustrating. I personally bought a set from you because I like to buy things from infamous people. So it worked out well that I got your stuff.
I remember you bought one, so I appreciate that.
You
bought a few things on that auction. I think you got a pretty good deal.
Oh my God, you got killed on that. You would think you would think that you like I kind of felt bad at the end. I was bidding on stuff, and I'm like, nobody else is bidding.
Yeah, no, I remember there's a bunch of spawns on that one, a bunch of stuff that all went for like $1.
And I will say that video where I unboxed it, I unboxed that live. I had your box, and I opened up another box simultaneously.
Yeah.
I think it was Nerdy Girl. It just so happened that it was you and Nerdy Girl that I opened up. Saying, okay, the influencers. I opened up simultaneously. That's like one of my highest rated videos because people like to see like people get torched as far as selling them for a song and a prayer, and obviously that's what you did.
Yeah, it didn't bother me though. I mean, I wasn't like upset or nothing.
I feel the same way too because, like, honestly, I gave a lot of stuff for like, like I stopped thinking I'm gonna actually make money. I'll be happy if I break even half the time. You know, I just got to unload stuff.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I made money on the exclusives obviously because I didn't pay anything for them. So I mean, that's
that
all
you
this
definitely did, yeah.
all the stuff I got from those, it was all profit. So I can't complain. So if I sold a few spawns that are worth more than $1 but only sold for $1, I don't care, no big deal. So I made some money on that deal, and I appreciate that, and it definitely helped me fix a couple things on the bus and go on another trip. So that's what it was about.
And I will say this to the chat that I'm not ignoring all your comments. I'm highlighting everything I can, but we're gonna answer some of the questions and go back to a lot of the comments a little bit later in the thing because we want to keep this conversation going. We want to make sure that we don't miss anything. But I am not ignoring you, people. Normally, I would tell you I'm ignoring you, but in
Yeah,
this, I'm not ignoring you.
yeah,
So to just because people know they automatically assume that I'm a good blow people off which I normally do,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I'm not doing that at this point. I don't want to get false credit for things I'm not doing. So uh as far as things that from the inside, working from the inside out with whatnot, do you feel that uh, there was room for improvement as far as the area of infrastructure is concerned? Did you see things that were implemented that were on the way that might have looked like the format was going to be better going forward, or was it just stagnant?
I think they would. eh, I think if you had the opportunity to talk to someone there, behind the scenes, I think they would say that. I think they would openly admit that, hey, we're still working on getting the infrastructure in place, and we're behind. We're missing a chance. And stuff. I think they're a year away from putting everything in place. To be honest, and
Well, that's soon.
whether that be new people or more people, I don't know, but I don't think anyone there would deny that. Hey, we're experiencing some growing pains, and some pretty bad ones too, to be honest. But I mean, it's like I said before, it's not a bad problem to have. You don't want a business failing. You want a business growing, extremely fast. You want to be playing catch up. You don't want to be playing the opposite where you got to lay people off. And right now they're playing catch up. And I think if you were able to talk to anyone there who works there, I think they would all admit to that. I think they would say, yeah, we're behind, and we're trying to catch up, and things are falling through the cracks. And like I said, I don't think anything is malicious or on purpose. I just think things fall through the cracks, and either you get people responsible for that, or you get more people to take care of that. And it just didn't happen during the time I was there. And hopefully they can learn something. I hope they are. I would hope that a year from now or 2 years from now, they've put an infrastructure in there in place that takes care of what they can do, or they scale down the business and like maybe say, okay, maybe we don't go after all these influencers and we only focus on the ones that we can handle. And if that's the case, then that works as well.
I
But
personally think that would be a mistake to get rid of the influencers and not go after more influencers because those are the people that are actually pulling in
yeah,
people to the thing. I don't care what people say about the everybody's an influencer. Let's be realistic. Everybody's an influencer in their own way. Maybe you're influencing them in a bad way, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We all influence people in one way or the other. You could have your nasty neighbor that all he does is scream all day and night, and he's influenced you. I don't want to be
yeah,
like that person.
yeah,
They're influencing you. You know,
yeah,
so that whole part of it, I don't get it. If you have somebody that has a certain type of following and a reputation, and they're able to pull in new blood to your business, why wouldn't you do it?
yeah,
And why wouldn't you give that like the people that like you got your incentives with working out the contract with them, and there's other individuals that worked out contracts with whatnot as well. And I say good for you and good for everybody else that worked out. You think you deserve it because you built a reputation and name for yourself, and your name is worth something.
yeah,
That's the way I look at it. If you were a nobody, I get it. You did. I'm sorry, people. For all you people that are nobodies out there, yeah, sorry. Your name isn't worth anything. Make it worth something, and then you'll get paid for it.
Yeah.
And then,
It's a brand, you know. I mean, Comics with Bueller is a brand, and
Mhm.
you know, obviously, if you know, you know, I've said before, I fully embrace being an influencer. I know I am, and I've influenced people to buy comics. I've influenced people to buy coffee and stuff because of my recommendation. And it just, you know, if you are an influence, your obligation is to be honest and true to your audience. As long as you can do that, then you're fine. But if you're an influencer and you're steering people down the wrong path, or being malicious or something like that, then that's a whole other story. And you know, but for me myself, I look at it one way. My audience is who I talk to. They're the ones that matter to me the most. And you know, I'm not going to sit there and say, hey, buy this coffee when I don't like the coffee. You know, I talk about it because I enjoy it and I think they'd like it. You know, it's not like I'm asking them to go and buy $1,000 book. You know, most of the stuff I advertise is $1 or, you know, less than $10, you know, and I don't push it any more than that. And, but I embrace the being an influencer. I look at it as a badge of honor, you know, and my ex-wife is like, people listen to you now. I'm like, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, go, believe it or not, they do. So
you deserve what you get. Like think of it like this: when when you employ somewhere, okay, and you're working for, I don't know, you're working as a tech, or you're working as a programmer for Microsoft, okay, and you end up building up a great name for yourself as a great key programmer, and then Google or Amazon come over and they steal you, and they pay you incentives and give you a bonus to go ahead of time. Are you like being a bad dude for doing that because you just used your name and your reputation and your skill set to be able to get a higher wage and bonuses and all that stuff? No, nobody looks at it as a bad thing.
no.
So why are they looking at this situation as a bad thing? It's a weird dynamic. It really is a weird dynamic. Now, are there douchebags out there? Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
I know that. I know for a fact you probably met a gazillion freaking douchebags out there.
I've,
They
I've,
exist.
I've met a few of them over the last few years. Sure.
Yeah, there's good people and there's bad people. The douchebags should get crucified, and the people that are going along doing their business should be left alone.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But if you were the CEO of whatnot today, if you had that role and you had to make one move that would give you instantaneous return and change of the company, what would that move be?
I don't know.
See, I come out with the tough questions, people.
What would I wouldn't even know where to start, to be honest. I would, you know, like I said, put the infrastructure in place for a successful, you know, partnership with the people you have under contract. You know, I mean, communication was the problem. That was the big problem I had with them, was the communication. And the communication is the problem that they've had with numerous other people. My story is not unique. It is just one that was told in a way that kind of brought stuff to light. Um, but my story is not unique. You know, I had a different contract, but the basis of the story and the lack of communication, you will hear that time after time after time. So if I was the in charge of whatnot right now, I would say we need to communicate better with our audience, with our partners, with everyone involved, and that would be the first thing I would do.
So come out to direct communication, like one-on-one communication or direct communication
Yeah,
with your sellers primarily and your
yeah,
partners, right?
yes,
That would make sense. It would make a lot of sense, But hey, you're not the CEO. Let's see
I
what
know.
they do. Let's see what they do.
Yeah,
It's to be continued, people. I will tell you something for the naysayers, for the haters out there. If I were you, if I really were you, I'd be rooting for Whatnot to actually excel and improve their model and do good and be a very viable competitor to eBay and a lot of the other platforms for many years to come. Because now that eBay is putting in their live sales thing, and if they're able to monopolize that as they did the sales platforms in previous years, and Whatnot goes defunct and other platforms like that go defunct,
Yeah.
you're gonna have an issue again.
Yeah.
Remember all the people that hate eBay? There's still a lot of people that hate eBay.
Yeah.
There's a reason why people left that platform to go and sell on Whatnot and Drip and a bunch of other things. Drip is another platform that is trying to get themselves together.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see where that's going to go. But it should be fun stuff. So what's the future for Bueller? You're the boss now. What are you doing? Where are you heading?
Well, right now I'm in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm still driving around. I think I'm trying to follow the weather to get back to Portland next month. So I'll probably the best route I can find to where it's not freezing is through Las Vegas. So I might be in Las Vegas next week.
See, the one answer I was expecting you to tell me you're going to take a hair dryer outside of your freaking bus and take that wrap off. It's not.
I do plan on doing that when I get back to Portland. That is the plan. When I get back to my home base, where I have the tools, I could park my bus and at my dad's house, and I could sit there and do it nice so it doesn't leave like any residue and kind of make it look presentable and stuff like that. Because you have to take your time. It's not something I can't do myself. I can definitely do it myself, but I don't want to do it in the parking lot of Cracker Barrel.
Stop devaluing yourself and giving out free services. They're done. They're done. No more. No money, no honey. That's it.
I will say I did have a black spray paint can on my hand one day last week. That was pretty close.
You were that close?
I was pretty close. I was like, that looked tacky. So I don't want it to look like there's graffiti on the side of my bus. So
you don't want to look spiteful.
I can go a few extra days.
Honestly, if you did that, you just look spiteful and kind of little yourself by doing that.
Yeah, so I put the spray can down and said that's fine. So
see, that's the kind of thing that I would do. Like I would draw like a big freaking
I've had a few people say something similar,
like going inside the Whatnot thing or something. Like that's probably what I would do.
Yeah,
but I drive around for a couple of days, get a couple of summonses and violations for having a decent exposure on my bus, and then that's it.
Well, I think I'm planning on just sending them a bill at the end of the month, and I'm going to call and find out where their account's payable. I'm just going to send them a bill for a month of advertising.
I would do it actually if I were you. What's the worst thing that could happen?
Exactly, that's the way I think. I'll send them an invoice and hey, here's for January, here's for February. And then see if they pay it. So you never know.
Well, especially if you do it yourself, you're probably going to get it cheaper than they did it because the freaking $9,000 for that wrap, it sounds freaking expensive to me.
Yeah, it did seem pretty expensive to me. But the buses are obviously bigger than a car, or a truck.
By far, but still, it's also easier to apply than a car.
Yeah.
I know guys that do that stuff all the time. I used to wrap. Years ago, when I worked with my father, we had the company truck. He had a bakery that we used to do wholesale and stuff like that. I used to have to go and wrap the buses, the vans. So I got a good idea how that works and stuff like that. So it's not that expensive.
I do plan on keep on rolling, keep on traveling. Just because Whatnot's on board doesn't mean I'm stopping. I actually, back in at New York Comic Con. At the bottom of my mind, I was like, what if Whatnot doesn't resign? I need to take steps to fill that spot. And I talked to some other companies that are still interested. I let them know that, hey, in February, let's sit down and talk. So there's some other people's like Cover Price, Short Box, a handful of others who have reached out to me that want to do business with me and stuff like that. And so it's not like even though they're gone, it doesn't mean I stop. It just means I take a little break, take care of other things, and redo some stuff on the bus, and I'm right back on the road. So it's I wasn't like unprepared. Let's put it to you that. And I didn't state that enough in the video. I thought people were like, "Oh man, now you're stuck" or whatnot, but that wasn't the case. I was actually anticipating whether or not I would resign with them. I didn't even know for sure because obviously you saw my frustration in the video that I've been dealing with, and I asked myself, if things don't change drastically, do I want to resign? I didn't know. And my good friends who know me, like John Stout, I've had conversations with him about this for over a year, and he knows what I'm talking about. And so,
I think it was pretty evident.
I'm not out in the dark, so I got other people lined up, so I should be good to go.
I think it was pretty evident from the video that you kind of expected it. I got that vibe that you
Yeah.
were expecting it. You were kind of like mentally prepared for that at that point. Um, and it happens when it's just like you said you have an ex-wife. Uh, you kind of expect it. You see the signs when they ignore you. When they they don't give you that honey.
Yeah.
You gotta get that feeling. So I definitely get that. But I also saw on the previous video that you were actually mentioning that you're possibly thinking about including the community on that bus somehow,
Yeah.
which I found really intriguing because that would be really cool. Something in the with the thought process of actually having each individual member make their own sticker and have it on the bus. Tell us a little bit more about what you're thinking about that.
Well, first let me explain kind of where it came from. There's a place in Portland called Pioneer Square, and it's made up of all bricks. It's like just a meeting hangout area for people in the city. And back in the day when they were building it, they sold bricks to people for like whatever it was, and they put their names on the bricks. So you can go to this Pioneer Square, and there's a name on every brick. And they help build it. I've always been a community guy. I'm more a community guy than I am a corporate guy. I'm accessible. And people call me all the time. I miss stuff here and there, and I feel sorry that I do. But I'm a community guy first, and the community is the one that has always been there for me. They've never let me down. Okay, the community is the one that has always been there to show me my true value, if you want to call it that. So I was just thinking, me and my daughter were thinking about that, and we were talking about the the Pioneer place or whatever, and I told her the idea, and she's like, "That's a good idea." So the idea basically is, I have a Patreon now, and I really don't put much attention into it, and that's my fault. But I want to do like a new Patreon or update this current one, really put some more effort into it, some special videos on my travels and stuff like that, because I do post a lot on Instagram now where I go on a daily basis, and I want to make it a tier for if you want to be a part of the bus itself, and like $10 a month. Because I thought to myself that if I have 25,000 subscribers, Whatnot's paying me $1,000 a month. That's only 100 people at $10 a thing. I go, I should be able to maybe generate 100 people out of 25,000 that would be interested in sponsoring the bus, and just like the other companies do, with my sponsorships. And I've already had a bunch of people reach out and say, "Yeah, I'd love to. I love what you're doing. I want to be a part of it," and stuff like that. So my goal is, and this is in the rough stage, I don't have anything written down. I usually take more time and figure things out when I do something like this. But the initial plan is to offer like $10 a month on the Patreon, the bus tier or whatever. I will make a custom sticker with your name on it or whatever you want. Some people don't want to use the real name, and I get that. But you would have a section on the bus, on the outside of the bus. We were looking today. I actually had lunch with a viewer. Goes by the name Descending Climax is his profile name. He lives here in New Mexico, and I'm like,
Descending Climax.
yeah, isn't that a great name?
Hey,
but
it's not the Insomniac.
Yeah,
because I would have taken this a different direction.
Yeah, but he's an awesome guy. And we had lunch today, and I said he watched that video too, and he asked about the same thing. I go, look at the hood. I go, I could start with the hood of the van. It's almost empty. I just take one logo off, the Whatnot logo, and I could put the names on there as time goes on. And I think it would be kind of cool to have the community. Not that the community already supports the bus. You know what I'm saying?
It's almost like they have ownership over the bus with you.
Exactly.
At that point.
Exactly. Just the same way Whatnot did, or the same way Comics on Coffee does. They're a part of it. Their names on there. When I'll put it to you this way, and our friend, part of the community, Sam from Sam's Tangled Web. Okay, he passed away a little over a year ago. His logo is on the bus. Okay, and I wanted it on the bus. That was like a priority for me. And I told Whatnot, I said, I want Sam's logo on the bus. Even though he's not with us anymore, he means something to me. He's part of this. Even though he's no longer with us, he's part of this. And so his logo is on the back of the bus. He's the only one who has his own logo on the bus. And other people have been interested in doing the same thing. And I'd be honored to be able to, for people to want
I
to.
think it's a great idea for everybody to, especially if you're asking for low prices. Like, I mean, I think again you're shortchanging yourself, but hey.
Well,
I've to each their own. Hey,
community.
Nobody channel people out there with 2 subscribers. Here's your chance to get some fame. Go on the Bueller's bus, put a sticker on there, and whenever he's driving the bus, you might get a glance of yourself. And then those people that are watching, like, hey, who the hell is that weird logo over there? I'm gonna go check it out, and maybe I'll subscribe if they don't have nonsense content. And there you go. And now you got your 15 minutes of fame for the price of a sticker. So think of it like that. I don't know. Like there you go. That's the salesman of me coming out. But it's a great idea. I love the idea. I think it's something that I think a lot of people will get behind. And if they're not, they're foolish. When you get ready for that, count me down for a sticker. I'd love to put a bumper sticker or something like that in the back saying journey's along, journey's coming along for your journey or something like that.
Well, I think I've partnered. I met a guy who does stickers. His name's Mr. Sticker, and apparently he's a fan of the show. I met him in San Diego. He said he'd love to do some stuff for me for free and everything. He's a big fan, and so I'm going to hit him up. Not that I would use it for free. I try to take care of him and stuff. But I think what I'm going to do is like have him do the names and print the stickers, whatever they are. And then if somebody wants to make their own custom logo and stuff like that, I'll say, okay, if you want to make your own custom one, it can't be larger than a certain amount, so it'll fit. But you can make your own if you wanted to and put it on there. But you definitely have to make it so that it's weathered. Because it's going to be going through rain and all that stuff, so you don't want to use a cheap thing. But I mean, I answer to the community. That's my boss. Okay, I'd rather answer to the community than answer to Whatnot, if that makes any sense. And that's the way I've looked at this. So
the community is what supports you.
Yeah,
they always. If you lose the community, what do you really have? Even that's why I never understood that. I never see, like with a lot of the other people that are involved in our community, it's such a polarizing thing. You have a lot of people that are venomous towards some people, but you have just as many, if not more, that are actually supportive of those people. Oh, yeah. And then you have the people that love to hate, but they can't resist loving to hate. Like, you're one of those very few examples out there that I don't think you have that many haters. I know you probably have haters out there. Everybody does. If you don't, you're not normal. Somebody's going to disagree with you. Maybe they don't like your glasses. I don't know. Whatever it is. Everybody's got a reason.
Yeah.
But
the trick is you don't give them a reason, and then you're fine.
Typically.
Yeah.
But like
some people give people a reason to not like, and then if you do that, then you're screwed. So I try to not give anyone a reason not to like me. And like I said, I'm pretty much an open book. So I mean, I'm not hiding nothing, or anything. I don't have any agendas, or anything like that. And I think people have noticed that over the years. And it's consistency. I've been like that from day one. If you see a person change and go, a different direction, then you're like, oh man, that's not the same guy I used to watch. What's happening and stuff. I think I'm pretty much the same cat that I was from day one. At least I try to be.
Listen, nerdy. Unlike everybody else, I embrace the hate. Okay, I don't care if people hate me. I bring it on. It gives me power. I'm like the freaking Mephisto. Bring me the hate. I don't care. Anyway, so you're gonna probably start off in the West Coast when you start your journey, right?
Yeah. My plan is to go back. Like right now, I'm still driving around. My plan is to be back in Portland in the middle of February because we have a Comic-Con in Portland, Fan Expo. So I want to be back for that. My next journey after that, as far as I'm flying to Florida for MegaCon at the end of March. So I will be in Portland or the Pacific Northwest area for like a month and a half. I'll go up to Washington, to Portland, visit stores around there, but I'm going to stay in the area because of the weather. It's cold everywhere. And, honestly, a diesel engine doesn't do very well in the cold weather going to different places. So I'm just going to wait till the season's over right after MegaCon. And then when I get back, I'm going to go out and head across country again. But that's always been the plan, was to go and travel for a few months, come home for about a month or so, then go and travel again. So I've stayed on that. February, we're just a few days away from February. That'll be a year since I've been on the road. And so, I have no reason to stop. I keep doing this. But, what I do want to say, when I go back to Portland, our good friend Bob, I'm going to spend some time with Bob, and we're going to take care of Bob because he's got a bad back, and I want him to feel better, and he has to take a little bit better care of himself and stuff like that. I want to help my buddy out because I love him, and I'm going to be there for him to support him. That way he gets through this and he's better before I leave. So that's one of my goals.
I'm rooting and I'm hoping for a quick recovery for Bob. I'm sure everybody else is though. Give some love for Bob, everybody. Hopefully, you know what it is when we get a little older and our parts start to get a little move around. You did talk a little bit about actually getting into shape.
Yeah.
Which, listen, I'm not exactly the ultimate example of physical fitness here myself. I got a lot of chunkiness on me. So, this is something you brought up, and I you know what? It would be great for you to keep talking about this on your channel as well, because I think it gives a little bit of motivation to a lot of people. A lot of us are a little bit on the chunky side. A lot of us are a little bit like we like to indulge in all the crap that we eat, and maybe we shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Maybe we should take care of ourselves a little bit better. Sitting down on a couch reading a comic all day and not getting up at all doesn't really do much for you, especially now with online ordering, and you don't even have to go to the comic shop,
Yeah.
So, it's a really good thing that you were talking about. One thing that I really would absolutely love to see, and chat, I'd like to see you comment on this as well, is I would love to see you throw a dash cam on that bus while you're driving.
Okay.
And kind of get like a look of what, you could be talking while you're driving or whatever the case. Maybe it'll help you from not falling asleep. But I would love to be able to see what you're seeing on those journeys.
Yeah.
Maybe
I hear you. I've filmed some of my driving and whatnot, not for doing a video, but just to see what it looked like and stuff. When I was driving down the coastline in Oregon a little bit, I filmed it and stuff. I even tried doing some voice, talking while I'm driving, but it's so loud and a diesel engine and stuff, you can't even hear it and stuff, so I could do audio commentary over it at some other time, but I have filmed a little bit of that stuff, and honestly, I've shed tears, coming some places I've been to, just coming over a mountaintop and then coming down into a valley and seeing this beautiful landscape. I've literally started crying. I was like, oh my God, it's just beautiful. And I felt a little guilty that,
you're experiencing things that a lot of us may never be able to experience in person ourselves.
Yeah.
There's so much country.
Oh,
there is so much to see out there. That's amazing. And I think that like I said, I personally would love to see it. Now, maybe it might not be good for your algorithm on your channel. Now you might have to talk to your Google guy and make sure that the algorithm works right. And if that's the case, maybe you just make a second channel as far as the Travels of Bueller and just put it all on there. And I'm sure you'll get monetized real fast on there regardless.
I do have another channel that's it's monetized. It's actually called Bus Life with Bueller, and but I haven't really done much on there. And one of the things that you talk about getting in shape, my energy level hasn't been that great because I wasn't in very good shape. And as you get better in shape, you have more energy and you're awake more and stuff. And I feel as though now, since I'm getting back in shape and feeling really good, I have more energy to do more things. And now I want to do stuff like that. And just being able to go on a 4-mile hike, I couldn't do that about a month ago, but I can do it right now. And I keep pushing myself every day. My goal this year was to get back in shape, in the best shape of my life since I was a teenager, and that's my goal. I'm totally just like all for it. I took a picture of myself before Christmas, and man, I was like, what the hell was that? I was probably the heaviest I'd been, and probably ever. And I was like, I don't want to ever be like that again. And so since then, I literally have cut. I've had zero fast food. I don't drink pop anymore. I exercise every day. I walk 3 or 4 miles a day. I watch what I eat. I eat a lot of, blueberries is like my number one thing that I eat. I mean, I eat regular food and stuff, but I've lost about 40 pounds in about a month and a half. And, I have a goal and I know what it is, and that's what my focus is.
Good
And
for you.
even though all the whatnot stuff happened, it didn't, for a day I was kind of down. I was like, screw that. I can't let that affect me. I got this goal that I put out there, and I'm going to stick to it, man. And I took a picture with, I don't know if you know who Jesse James is, comics. He's a seller. And I took a picture with him, and my stepmom sent me a thing. She's like, oh my God. She was like, I can see you've lost so much weight in just like a few weeks. And I go, yeah. And I go, I noticed it right then and there that I can see a change, and just in my physical, appearance, or just my energy level. So if I get my energy level up, which is going up every day, I can do more stuff, and I can go visit more places, and I can see that mountain and say, I'm going to climb that fucking mountain, and then go do it. And to where before I probably would be, oh man, I'm going to fall over. So, I mean, that's a really big thing for me. And I just want to, really get myself back in shape, like, and I want to do a shirtless pose like Reggie did, or whatever it is. And, so that's my goal.
Listen, Reggie doesn't exactly make it easy for a lot of us to take our shirts off. This guy has
I'm gonna give that guy a run for his money. I don't care.
Good for you, man. Yeah, good for you.
That's the goal.
I'm not aware of Jesse James, but I'll definitely look him up. I am aware of Jesse James, the porn star, though. She was freaking phenomenal.
Oh,
but
she knew how to handle her job.
She was real nice. So just because we're a little bit on the topic right now, what's going on with Bueller? Is he single? Is Bueller giving out his loving on his travels? What's going on with that? Like, do people have opportunity to experience the full Bueller experience as you go through city to city?
Yeah, they do. I am single. I'm always looking for the one, which would be a lovely lady. I think anyone who is single is always looking for the one. I've been married before, my ex-wife, and I had 2 wonderful kids. I'm in my, I'm 47 years old. I have no desire to have any more kids or be involved with kids and stuff like that. I've done my time, I guess you'd say. But my next round would be a grandfather. Whenever that day comes, that's my next, dealing with kids, and I'm looking forward to that. But as far as am I out there looking? I go, sure. I've met a lot of ladies on the road. There's a lot of people that live this lifestyle and travel. They're not necessarily into comic books by any means, but they do like the bus life and the travel and the nomad type thing. And I've met some really great people, some really, ladies here and there and stuff like that, and made connections and stuff, but nothing serious. That being said, I am, I mentioned I traveling and going to these, over this mountain and seeing this landscape, and it's, makes me, tear up a little bit. I felt a little guilty sometimes, like I'm not sharing this with someone next to me. And so if I ever get the opportunity to meet the one that wants to share this lifestyle, I'm not going to pass it up, But on the same time, I also, like I said, really want to take care of myself this year and focus on, getting healthy and all that stuff, and present a better package, I guess you'd say. The package right now is there's a lot of fluff around it. I want a lean package, and stuff like that.
You want everything to be nice and streamlined, right?
Yeah.
You want no obstructions.
Yeah. So I mean, that's but
look at you. You're actually mindful of the other party. You want it to be happy. Like, it's a good thing I'm not in your spot because I'd be terrorizing the entire country. But but honestly, that part of the experience I envy a lot. Not the shower part, not the like in the middle of the night. I'm like, holy shit! Oh, I want to go to sleep part. I don't envy that part. But the jumping from city to city and seeing like some kind of super freak women from city to city, that I find intriguing. See, that's a video. That's a channel in itself.
Yeah, that's a whole other channel.
You could actually put down a half a dozen channels just off of your bus experiences.
Yeah.
But it's not so you never found that unicorn. You never found that super hot, super crazy comic nerd that loves you for you and actually wants to ride in the bus with you from city to city. You haven't found that yet.
No, not, and honestly, I don't think I even come close.
Right.
the last part, what you said to that, the one that wants to go on the bus and travel with you from city to city, that's the hard one to get. So there's other ladies that you can meet and settle down and do that, but to get them to, hey, this is my house on wheels, and we're going to go to Comic-Con, and stuff, and comic shops, that's not quite an easy sell. So the pool is very small on that one, but you never know. There's a chance. So, like 2% of my audience is women. So that's 2% of 25,000. That's what is that?
There's something there,
That's 400 women. I don't know. So.
And let's not forget about all the lurking people out there. You have 25,000 people, but you might have another 150,000 people out there that are lurking that are they don't like to commit. Yeah. Just like a lot of things in their life, they don't like to commit. They don't like to press that subscribe button. I don't know why you people do that. And by the way, if one of my mods in there was a blue wrench, because I do actually have a couple I gave back wrenches. Some of the people with the wrenches in there, if you could put down Bueller's channel and people would go sub him up, I'd appreciate that because he's looking for his true and only fan.
And Miss So puts a comment out there, says she's out there, Bueller. You'll know her when you meet her. That's absolutely right. I will know when I meet her. Like when I met my ex-wife for the first time, I knew that she was the one, and stuff. Obviously, things happen, people live and learn, but I will know when I meet that person who the one is, and hopefully they will as well. And I
hope that's the case. That never works out for me. I need to club them over the head and make sure that they know that I know that they need to be with me. But you'll find it. You're a nice guy. You're a nice guy, and you have a good character. So I think
I'm one. Men tend to get better looking as they age, and I think I'm actually one of those because I look back at myself when I was in my 20s and
listen, we're in the same age group. I'm gonna be 46 next month.
Yeah, so I think I've aged well, and I think the more I take care of myself, the more I'll have that distinguished look and stuff. So,
listen, fortunately, men, we age like wine. We get better and better, as time goes on.
Yes.
And if you want to hear about how women age, you can listen to my last Insomniac, and I'll tell you about my last 3 dating experiences, and you can feel better about yourself after that. Because it's not a fun place to be out there looking for your soulmate. It's definitely not. I recently got we had a lot of stuff in common. I don't understand why, but we have a lot of stuff in common. I recently got divorced myself, so I'm definitely feeling your situation of not finding the right fit, so to say.
I've been divorced for a long time, by the way. It's not anything new. I've been divorced for 20 years. And I'm not saying I haven't had a relationship in between. I've had plenty of relationships in between, but nothing really that I wanted to commit to. So I just, it's been, 20 years since I got divorced. So.
Well, I think I tortured the chat long enough, so I am going to actually open it up to some questions now. Now I will actually not ignore you purposely anymore. Now I may answer your questions, or I may allow Bueller to answer your questions. Possibly, maybe. I don't know. Let's see if there's something worthy of answering here. Hold on a second. Let's
Any
see.
questions?
Don't answer no questions, and I won't tell you no lies.
Hey Lord, don't ask me questions. Hey Lord, don't ask me questions, please. What do you want? What do you want from us? To ask you this much is just a matter of trust, not an affront. What do you want?
All right, perfect. That should give me my copyright strike for the night. So that works out good. Well, we haven't gotten one yet tonight, so that works out perfectly.
I've never had a copyright strike.
Oh my God, I am the king of copyright strikes. I have gotten so many. I have. If I show you my YouTube studio, it's gonna blow your mind.
You know that they're all avoidable. You know, you just don't put the stuff that would get you a copyright strike on stream.
I just don't care.
I figured as much.
As long as they don't block my thing, which I have many blocks, and I have many revoked and removed ones. Our last time together here was removed.
That's what I remember you saying something about that.
Yeah. Why? I don't know. They don't like me. They don't like me.
Yeah.
They definitely. I did see that in the chat. There were a couple people that liked the whole bus idea. The Bronze Age, he was talking about actually putting together a bronze bus, which was pretty interesting. Not sure who has. I'm just going back to the question there just to make sure that there's something of substance that we should answer. But I think for the most part, we kind of answered it as we were going on.
Yeah, we did pretty good.
Yeah, I think, we did awesome, right? This was an awesome thing, and it worked out really, really well that you came on here with my low tech. You were my guinea pig. You realize that you were my guinea pig? It worked out so beautifully because I had to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And, yes, I have 1.15 subs and 1.4K are copyright lawyers. Yeah. Yes, that's what we have. I'm the only guy that can get monetized, but doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter.
I mean, you're not. I don't get a lot of money from YouTube. I mean, I really don't. I think my last YouTube check was under $400.
That's something people don't realize.
Yeah,
you get crap. I have a real estate channel that has a decent following on it, and peanuts. You get peanuts. Yeah, and the real estate, the real estate channels, they actually have more revenue that comes per click and view. It's still crap.
Yeah.
It's still absolute crap. People don't realize that. You're like, oh my God, I got to monetize. I'm going to be YouTube rich. No.
Yeah.
You
pay more money working at McDonald's over the weekend.
You just put on stress on yourself to be able to put a better product because now you're monetized and now you start getting competitive about it.
Yeah.
So it's a very weird thing that goes on. Yeah. Now you're thinking, now I got to please people. Because up until the point where you're not monetized, you're kind of going loosey-goosey about it. And you're like testing things out. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh, now I got to take this serious. This could turn into a business. No. Unless you got 50, 100,000 people that are subscribers and you have a consistent view count of 5,000, 6,000 or more per video, you're not making money. Sorry.
I've said this before. I think it's about. I've done the math. It's like for every 1,000 views, it's like $10. So,
you're lucky. You're
And,
lucky.
yeah. So, I mean,
Because you know what? All these pricks that sit and watch it, they click through the freaking ads. They don't watch the ads. Hey, listen to you people. If I monetize, you're gonna watch every single ad. Every single ad. And not only that, I'm gonna put them every single 2 minutes. Every 2 minutes, I'm gonna put it on my freaking video. And you're gonna watch every single one, and you're gonna like it.
I pay for a YouTube Premium, so I don't have to watch any ads.
Well, that's even better. Then you don't have to watch the ads, and you actually get through them. I do the YouTube Premium as well. The only bad thing is I have it on my other platform. Now I'm thinking that maybe I should get a second YouTube Premium so I could, like, when I'm splitting up, I don't have to watch it because it's annoying.
Yeah,
but it is what it is. But the sorry to break all your YouTube dreams, people. Sorry, that's the reality. Were you shocked when you first got monetized and you got that, like, you had to wait for, like, what would you wait, like 2 months to get that first $100 check or
yeah. I mean, it was for me, it was something because I actually didn't have any money coming in at all. So for me, it was like at least it was something coming in, and I saw myself like, okay, the potential of growth, and like next month will be more, next month will be more. I make less now on YouTube than I did 2 years ago. Right now,
really?
yeah.
Well, 2 years ago was the pandemic. People were glued, they had their ass glued on the couch and just watching stuff over and over again. That was a different. Like anybody that was able to monetize and actually take advantage of that time period as far as their social media is concerned. I hope that they built on it and improved from there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people got complacent and didn't do anything with it more than just trying to monetize on it. And you saw a lot of channels that were very big during that time that just disappeared. I actually got into the whole YouTube community. I want to say about 3 years ago, more or less. And you actually were one of the channels that pulled me in. Comic Tom was another channel that pulled me in. Another polarizing figure. But I see this I call him a kid because he's a kid compared to me. But I see this kid like flailing his arms about everywhere and being so excited about all the stuff that he's talking about. I'm like, what the hell is this? Yeah. This is interesting. So I would watch him, and then I would watch you having a cup of coffee and sitting there with Sam and doing all your stuff. I'm like, this is kind of cool. Well, where was this? Where was I all this time? Yeah. I was watching you. Who else was Comics Explained? That was another one that I would watch all the time because he was explaining to me all the comics that I missed out on.
Yep.
And I could understand where to pick up from. And that's another channel that even though he's got 2 million, it's a weird thing to say this. Mm-hmm. He's got 2 million viewers or subscribers, but he doesn't get any love from the core community for some reason.
Yeah, it's a different audience now. That's it's interesting you bring that up because I'm here at my daughter's house and she lives with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend watches that Comics Explained, but he doesn't buy comics at all. He just watches it because he doesn't have to. He can just watch that. He doesn't watch any other comic channels or whatnot. He just likes to stay up to date on stuff because that channel just provides you with what's going on and basically tells you what's inside the comic book. He hasn't bought in a comic book in, he said, 20 years and stuff. So there's a lot of people that are just like interested in stories. And so they watch videos like that, but they have no interest in, buying a book or the information about a book or who wrote it or any of that stuff. So
the investment part of it and that kind of thing. Yeah, I get it. You do not get a blue wrench because you scare the shit out of me. That's why you don't get a blue wrench. I don't know what you'll do with that blue wrench. Some people, you got to be careful with the authority they have. I'm not giving willy-nilly blue wrenches because I had a blue wrench gate in the past where I had to revoke everybody's blue wrenches.
Miss So had a question about. Said, "Have you tried streaming on Twitch too?" No, I've never done Twitch, and right now I'm besides YouTube, the only other thing I do is Instagram, and I've been trying to put some more effort in my Instagram as well. I think I have about 5,000 followers on there, but I don't know if I can handle another one. I'm not too technically savvy, and so one thing at a time.
Well, here's the thing with the Twitch. I hear a lot of people using that platform as well. I don't know how good it is for our community. For certain things, I think like artists, I think it's a great community to use Twitch. Gamers, they love using Twitch.
Yeah.
Not sure about our community, but what do you use? What do you use as your go-to as a platform to be able to stream from? Do you stream directly from YouTube, or do you use like a StreamYard or something else?
No, I don't really do a lot of live stuff. It's just all edited videos.
So you
And
don't really need that.
no,
Well, you do a good amount of. No, it's mostly edited. You're right.
yeah.
You're right.
Speaking of that, I gotta edit my video for tomorrow, the preview one. So I'll be doing that tonight. So
So you sitting there making yourself pretty after the video, like special effects and all that stuff. Yeah,
a
this
little
not
bit, a little bit.
you have a whole makeup crew and stuff like that around you.
Oh
As you
yeah,
set stuff up.
they travel in the other bus.
You stick them in the trunk, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You know that's see, I'm the opposite. I like to actually do the live streams because it's less work.
It's definitely less work, and I've done live streams and stuff, but my bread and butter is the edited videos and stuff like that. I just had my first edited video reach over 100,000 views, and it's been on a couple of years, but it still generates thousands of views every month. And it's a evergreen video. It's the information involved in it is good, 2 years ago, and it's still good today. So I like doing videos like that have a lifespan. So I want to get back to doing those. I haven't done those in quite some time.
ETA Nick was another good one, Brian.
Yeah.
He definitely had a great job. I was sorry to see him like just stop everything.
Yeah.
But at the end, I feel that he was very disgruntled anyway. He wasn't really happy about what he was doing. He seemed a little bit miserable. So
He went to college and he was Corvallis in Oregon. He was a Portland State, or he was a Beaver and stuff. So we had that in common. I'm because they're one of my favorite teams.
I just hope he's well.
Yeah, I think he's doing good.
He was a great character. He really was a great character.
Yeah.
I stole my douchiness comments from him because at one point all he was calling his people douchey. It was just too good to not use as like a common term.
Cali Comics says Bueller is one of the guy I can just listen to. I don't even need to watch. I can enjoy his. Thank you very much, Kelly. Yeah, it's probably this is a voice for radio. It's not really a face for radio at the moment. So I get you.
Well, you do have something that's calming when it's comforting. That's the best thing to say.
Well, I try to be. The voice of reason is what it is.
I never seen you. A couple times you get irritated and stuff like that, but I never really see you. You're more even keel, and that's a good thing. It's comforting when you.
I really, like the when me and Bob would do the coffee videos. I really enjoyed it. As you can tell that we're having a really good, genuine good time. Making that video and filming it and enjoying each other's company and talking about what we're talking about. And I think people can notice that there's a difference between you just reading a script and just kind of, smiling and doing your thing, as opposed to two guys just talking about something they love and really enjoying the conversation and the topic that they're talking about. And I think we really shined when we did those shows together. So, and a lot of people really enjoyed those, and they still today are like, can't wait for the reunion when I get back in town. So
well, it's funny you just mentioned that. Let's touch that for a second. You said it's not like reading off a script. How much effort and how much work do you put in prior to making the videos? Do you actually write a script? Do you write an outline for yourself? Or what kind of preparation do you take? I mean, obviously, when you're doing your new comics and stuff like that, you have to be prepared and have everything lined up for you. Yeah. But on a typical basis, how much effort and time do you put in prior to actually making the video?
Well, the preview video is pretty straightforward. I just read the titles, That's the only thing written down. I'm actually just reading off the screen because I type them all in and I do a voiceover. I basically just watch the video and just say, I'm watching the titles as you would. And I just, it's already printed there, Action Comics number 1051. And I'm just saying that. So, I mean, that's, as far as a script for that, that's all that is. But when you look at the Coffee and Comic Show, which is, an actual show where we're having a conversation, the only thing really written down in that show is I have the comments that we're going to talk about written down. And that's it. I just have the comments written down that we're going to focus on. Obviously, I can't remember them, off the top of my head. So those are written down. There's no script for Bob or nothing like that. He just comes, sits down. There's an outline of the show as far as, like intro, and then it says, make sure like this part is brought to you by Black Box Comics, and this part is brought to you by this. There's that outline and what we're going to discuss, but there's no script or nothing. It's all whatever comes to the top of your head, and stuff. But the only thing really written down when we were doing those was the comments. And then I would write notes like, okay, the reason why I chose this comment was because we can talk about this subject. This gets us to this subject. And I would write that down so that way we had it on the notes, and that's where we were going to go with it. But besides that, it was all just, two guys just sitting there and talking about books, and talking about a subject that we wanted to hit that week. And, and that was about it. So it flowed really well.
How cold is there, Bueller? How cold is that bus right now?
It's warm. I'm good.
Yeah.
I could take my jacket off. I'd be fine.
So Kelly says if you go by Sacramento, you could stop by Whatnot Publishing House. I'm sure Calero would be down to do it. I don't know what that means, but
yeah, I'm not interested in the.
Well, yeah,
I got enough of my Whatnot.
Stupid question that is. What a stupid question. But I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
There's your copyright strike right there. What are you doing to yourself?
Yeah, I already got the copyright strike. It's just,
gosh.
Once you break the seal, it doesn't matter anymore at that point. But we have to comment appropriately. Hey, Northern Rad, wow, we had an ongoing crowd, which is actually surprising for a Tuesday night because there's so much stuff going on on a Tuesday night. You got every single freak under the moon making a stream and a video. So I'm actually very, very thankful for everybody that's been tuning in and actually stayed from the very beginning with us.
That's awesome. A lot of people, like I said, there's still some people in here that I've met in person, and if my buddy John Stout, who was in here earlier, and I haven't seen a comment for a little while, but he lives in Portland, and when I'm in Portland, we hang out every week and go have coffee or go to a shop or go out to lunch and stuff, and he was one of my viewers that realized that I lived in the area, and I have a handful of friends that I made because of that. It's awesome people. So my buddies in Portland went on a comic book crawl last weekend, and they sent me a picture. There's like 6 of them all out to eat, and I'm like, damn it, it looks like so much fun to hang out with all them and stuff, which I've done in the past. But I was a little envious of them doing that for the day, and I miss them. So I'm looking forward to getting back there and hanging out with my buddies. So there he is. He says I'm still here. He's just a little guy. He's my little buddy. I love him to death, though.
Hey, that's kind of fitting. He's stout and he's little.
Yeah.
It kind of works.
Yeah, he's a big fan of Halloween. I went over to his house a couple years ago and he showed me all his Halloween direction. It was awesome. He goes all out and stuff. So just a really, really good guy, and I'm lucky to have people close like that I can talk to and stuff. And he's one of them. So I miss you, buddy. I'll be back soon.
Well, thank you, Mitchell. I'm very, very proud of being so awesome as an interviewer. It does help that I have a good person to interview. And just in case if people are wondering what the qualifications, what type of people I will be interviewing in the future, Bueller obviously is a great candidate. As you can tell, we have very comfortable conversation that's going on. I'd like to be. I want to. open this up to people that are actually interesting, that have something that I want to hear. Okay, so I apologize to the boring people. I will not be interviewing you on the show.
Sorry.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Uh, but that is a very big qualification. The other thing is you have to have something that not only I find interesting about you, that the chat and the community that listens to will find interesting about you. So if you're into some obscure thing that I could care less about, but you have a really niche audience of 5 people that love it, sorry, you need to go to those channels and actually stick with that little 5 person. So that's my qualifications. It's very
There you
simple.
go.
Just be interesting. That's all. So I will open it up to the chat and in the future comments on the replay. If you have any recommendations for future people to be interviewed on this show, please let me know. If they don't suck, I will consider them.
They don't suck.
No,
I'm glad I met your requirements.
I'm
I'm glad
just
I didn't suck.
I'm just being honest, like, yeah, listen, if somebody turns around, hey, my cousin, he just opened up a channel for, he has 5 people and all he does all day is goes, I just bought this.
Yeah.
And just holds a comic there. Doesn't say a word. Here, this is my thing. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. No interest whatsoever. No interest. Yes, I am humble, and listen. I could be on here literally till tomorrow. And people know that very well from my past streams that I have no problem being on stream, but I am also very mindful of your time. I'm sure you could be on here for quite some time. You've been on long streams with me as well.
Yeah.
But I also know that you're feeling a little under the weather. I don't want to keep you on too long. I'll give everybody one last chance if there's any questions or anything like that to put it out there. We'll keep a tight ship. We're gonna keep a tight ship. This is not gonna be this organized chaos that's happening on these shows. Prime time, we do organized chaos. After hours, I don't know what happens, but
Did we get all your questions that you had? We covered all that. That's good.
I believe we answered everything. I mean, obviously, there's so many more questions I could probably ask you and move forward with. But I think I pinpointed the ones that I think that I found most important to me. I don't know about the chat. I don't know about the public if they found anything interesting. But you answered my question. You fulfilled my questions. You told me all about your erotic life. You told me all about your bus adventures. You told me about the future of Bueller going out with the bus. Any different formats that you're going to be doing on the channel itself, as far as any upcoming events or anything like that you're going to be doing that we would want to talk about? Anything you want to promote?
Just more content. I want to focus on making more content. And when I get back to Portland, and when I'll be there for a little while, I want to make more stuff with my friends. With like Damien, Sleepy Reader, or Jen, or Bob, and stuff like that. But I just wanted to make more content in general. And I've talked to some other sponsors that might want to jump on board, and it might, if I get them on board, it'll make it easier for me to make content because I will have their I will have them available to resource and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I'm going to be focusing on going forward. And but I'm not going to be on any other platform. YouTube and Instagram are where I'm at, and I'm enjoying that and stuff. But I really do want to focus on the community this year. That's my goal, is to really be community first and pro community for the comic people. I think that part of the community took a beating last year from certain others and stuff. And I didn't think it was fair, and it pissed me off a little bit, to be honest. And I want to be pro community and pro, the people that take their time to watch, and represent them well, and being an ambassador for this thing that we love, comic books and stuff. So that's my goal.
That's actually a great question. How much did you plan on spending on gas, and how much did you actually spend, especially last year when we had that spike from hell?
The most I spent 1 month was $2,600
Jesus.
in gas, and that was the first month that I left, and that was an eye opener. Because at that time when I left, I had a lot of money saved up and stuff, because I was just leaving, and but then to see, when I figured out my expenses, and because I had them all on my card, it was going to be $2,600 for a month. I said I need to slow down, and take my time, not drive so much and get to a place and then stay at that place for a little bit, not just fly right by it. So going forward, if I manage my funds a little bit better, I think I want to budget maybe $1,000 a month in gas, or something like that. Because I mean, I can do that. Like right now, I'm in Albuquerque and I'm going to go back to Portland. It's going to cost me $750 in gas to drive from Albuquerque to Portland. I know it because I figured out my
A lot of money.
Yeah,
It'd be cheaper to fly.
That's 2 round trip tickets to Florida right there is what that is. Like when I left from New York to drive back to Oregon, that was like almost $1,800 in gas. Just that one trip, no stopping, just driving through. So I need to budget down a little bit better, and I have, so that way I'm not spending $2,000 to $3,000 a month on gas, and just enjoying the places I go to a little bit more, and taking my time. So it's not a race. So that's kind of the plan.
You find a lot of places where you have to go downhill.
Yeah,
that helps a lot. The
less then you got to go uphill all the way back.
Well, yeah, you just keep going downhill until you hit the water. Then
okay. Eventually, you run out of that option.
You gotta be super careful with that. But hey, it is what it is. But I'm gonna actually ask you one last question because I didn't ask you this question. I really wanted to know this. Which was the ultimate, the best comic book shop, LCS, whatever you want to call it, experience you had in all your travels? Which one was that one place? It had you.
It's excuse me. It's Robbie's shop, The Deep, from Pop Culture Philosophers.
Oh yeah.
God, it's such a good shop, and I don't really have any video footage of it because me and Robbie were just kind of, when I was there, we were just kind of hanging out and having fun, and we going out. We went to the bar and went karaoke and all this stuff. But
you didn't even get the karaoke on video.
No, I did.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, I've got him on my Instagram, and he has me on his Instagram singing. And I did a Bob Dylan song. He did a Vanilla, like Ice Ice Baby or something like that. He's much better than I was. But his shop that he's a manager of, it's called The Deep, and it's in Huntsville, Alabama. It's probably about 8,000 square feet, top to bottom, because it's 2 stories. And it's got everything. I mean, it's got a lot of everything. I've been to a lot of shops that have a lot of this and a little bit of this and a little bit of this. This shop has a lot of everything. They actually have shopping carts at the door because people buy so much stuff there they need shopping carts. And I've never seen that before.
That's awesome.
And I asked, where's one guy had a shopping cart in there? Was that a homeless guy or whatever? He's like, no, we have shopping carts. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But I mean, they have a whole separate Bronze Age section. They have a whole separate Silver Age section.
But that's in Alabama. Well,
yeah.
That should blow everybody's mind. In Alabama, you have something like that. You would think that's in a major metro like New York or California or something like that. But in Alabama, wow, kudos to him. So
they have like over 1,000 box customers. They have like 30 to 40 people on staff. It's just crazy. And they have a huge toy section, a huge model section, a huge card section. It's literally everything you could want, and there's no lack of it. They've got dollar books, like a couple hundred.
Why would you not take video of that place and show it off? You're a terrible businessman.
Yeah, I know, but here's the thing: Robbie doesn't show it off either, and that's his. I asked him, I go, how come you don't show this place? You have a great audience and stuff. I'm sure they'd love to see it. And he's all, I just want it to be separate from what I do. And
it's not.
And so I need to, but I do plan on going back there because, for one, Robbie's one of my best friends, and I'm looking forward to hanging out with him again and going to karaoke and doing that again and stuff. But it was pretty amazing. And I
I'm
did
so
put some
damn
pictures
intrigued
of it.
now. Now I want to see it. Now
There
I
are
wanna
some
see it.
pictures of it on my Instagram and a little video of me doing like a 360 type thing. But and then the whole upstairs is all gaming tables. So if you're into that, they have that. There's only one other comic shop that's in the area, and they're like, I mean, it's like the size of my bus. It's not even on the map. They barely carry, anything there. So it's just they've got the market cornered.
Well,
And
after what you just described, anything else in the area must be like hillbilly land, like a little like shack or something.
yeah,
I believe that is the name, right? The Deep, is that what you
yeah,
said?
it's called the Deep.
So it's just like, so you guys don't forget, just like that pervert from The Boys, that's the Aquaman guy. To remember that, and you know that's the name of the store.
Yeah.
So that's good stuff. I didn't realize that he had that great of a shop.
There's
Wow.
also another one here in Albuquerque where I'm at now called Age of Comics that has it's called the Danger Room, and it's I don't even know if they sell anything in this room. It's like its own separate room. You go into it's just wall of comics. It's like First Flash, First Wonder Woman, 3 copies of First Thor, and just like all these books that are like 6 figures. And there's probably about 100 of them on the wall. And then they have a life-size handmade Sentinel coming through the ceiling and the wall. The hands coming out of the wall and the face is coming through the wall, but it's like it's like 10 feet tall, the face and everything. So that's a pretty cool shop. And then
You got Torpedo somewhere around you as well, right?
Torpedo is in Vegas, so I'm planning on.
Oh, it's in Vegas. For some reason I thought it was in New Mexico.
Yeah, no, I've been to every shop here in New Mexico, so I can cross that off my list. But I think Torpedo Comics is in Vegas, and but yeah, there's been some good ones and just some ones on my I don't even spend a minute in. I'm like, I walk in, I look around for a second, I turn around and walk out.
The thing is, the most of them are small. So basically, you go in, it's one room.
Yeah.
Your eye basically takes in everything within 5 minutes, and that's it. There's nothing more to it. You went to Midtown Comics when you were in New York, right?
I walked by it. I didn't get a chance to actually go in it. I will next time I'm there, but there was a lot of people there at the time, and I wasn't walking there to go to Midtown Comics. I was actually going somewhere else. But I've seen so much video footage of Midtown Comics itself, so I know what it looks like inside.
You're gonna be so unimpressed when you walk in there.
Really?
Yeah, you'll walk in, you make your own determination. But I'll tell you something. It is large. It's 3 floors.
Yeah.
But what you don't realize, the New York rental 3 floors.
Yeah.
And they're
very narrow,
long, very narrow. It's a tight space. They got a lot of crap.
Yeah.
They got a lot of crap throughout those 3 floors, but it's not like it's not a place where you can go in and say I had the most glorious of experiences going there. You got every smelly freaking guy next to you with his armpit sweat and everything like that. Just don't go in this summer. Trust me.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's weird. That's why I was so happy when I went to NYCC, which I still regret not meeting you there. There's Brian LCS. He met you over and I told him I wanted to come and meet you. And he freaking didn't call me over when he met you. You freaking anyway.
Yeah, he's not going to make the show.
Yeah, I'm gonna put him on my list. I have a list, by the way. I don't know if you realized it, but I have a list now of people that are on the list of Journey, and
the list.
You don't want to be on that list.
There you go. That's awesome.
So. Yeah, I mean, it was a much better experience than I expected, because the last time I went to a comic convention prior to that was in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
And yes, I did see video footage and I seen pictures of how it is now these days and stuff like that. but you don't really understand, experience it the same way unless you're there.
Yeah.
And the funk wasn't as evident as I remembered it to being.
Yeah.
Because when you went into a comic convention in the 90s,
It was a different audience.
oh, there was a
It was
funk.
just us comic book nerds. Now it's
You would walk right through the door, and there would be like a big vaporous punch to the face,
yeah.
and you say, "What the hell did I just walk into?" And it was a different story, and there was light cosplay, and the people that were cosplaying lightly really should not be cosplaying with the type of attire that they were. You know, it was a different environment. Also, it was fun, but it was different.
Yeah.
Fun, but different.
I'm a huge I love Comic Cons, big and small. You know, I just enjoy just, you know, getting a chance to meet people, meet old friends, say hello again, you know, and you know, you mentioned it earlier, you know, when we first started, you know, what kind of got me into this and stuff. And as a kid, you know, I read comics and loved them and sold them and did all that stuff. And you know, would read Chris Claremont. You know, I was like, oh, you know, I had my Mount Rushmore of people I thought were so cool, and now here I am, you know, 30 years later, I actually know these people in person and stuff. I get the opportunity to meet them. So when I go to these cons and get to meet these people that I've shared some time with, it's awesome. I love it, you know, and it's I'm trying to go to as many as possible. So whenever I always look at the guest list, I'm like, oh, there's Dan Jurgens. I get to say hi to Dan again, you know, and I haven't seen him for over a year, and we did a project together, and I get to thank him in person and stuff, you know. So I'm pretty lucky when I get to do that. I really enjoy, you know, him, and then like meeting Brian, and like he said, I was just give Reggie a hard time, you know. I was there, and that was the first time I met Reggie in person. We've been friends for 5 years. Never met him in person. That was the first time, and we just cracked up laughing. You know, we have so much respect for each other. And
Oh, I'm going to tell you something about Reggie. I could not believe his tolerance levels. The amount of stuff that I told him and I have been telling him and stuff like that, I thought as soon as he saw me, he was going to run the other way. He was so personable. He is like, yeah, maybe he was selling his comic to me. That's why he wanted me to come near him. But he didn't know if I was going to buy it or not. Maybe he thought I was just going to harass him and then leave. But he's a sport. Honestly, he's a good guy.
yeah,
As far as
I will tell you this: if you get a chance to go have drinks with Reggie, that's a different Reggie.
well, I asked him. And that's actually some of my lost footage that I have, where we're talking about the after-hour orgy, but he wouldn't let me know the location of it.
Yeah, no, I don't know nothing about that, but we
Yeah,
did
I'm sure. I'm sure
we
you
did
didn't
share
know
a few
anything about
drinks
that.
together at the bar.
Everybody does not want to include a journey in the freaking after-hour orgy. I get it.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to tell me.
You're on the list. You're on the list. But no, hanging out with Reggie after hours, and we went and had a few drinks at the bar and stuff because we were staying at the same hotel for a couple nights, and that was a blast. You know, just Reggie kind of let loose, and you know, and he actually said a swear word, which I'd never heard Reggie say a swear word. And I was like, man, it's like watching my grandma swear, and he started laughing and stuff. But
Reggie cursed?
yeah, I mean, you didn't hear that from me.
You heard that here first, people.
It wasn't like a really horrible one, but just, you know, Reggie's very well contained and very well spoken on his channel.
So who else was part of this little orgy of yours, this little clique that you were hanging out with at the Comic-Con? Tell us all about it.
Well, at that time, it was just me and Reggie. We were hanging out at the CGC after party, and I didn't even know that's what it was. I saw him at the bar, and I walked in there and sat down and started talking. And he's like, you know where you're at, right? I go, what do you mean? He goes, this is the CGC after party. And I go, oh, they blocked me. I don't know if they probably want me here, but I hung out anyway. We had a good time. But
well, that must have been a pretty crappy party if you didn't realize you were in a party.
Yeah, it wasn't really too much going on when I got there. It picked up as time went on. And then I think God, that was New York. I think there was a Whatnot after party that I went to, and pretty much everyone was there. And I was there for a few hours hanging out with pretty much everyone involved with Whatnot and
That
stuff.
must have been more fun. The Whatnot one must have been more fun than the CGC one, right?
Yeah, it was like 3 stories, and every story had different music, and it was kind of a club atmosphere and stuff, and it was all catered and everything. So was the CGC one, but there was definitely
Son
like
of a bitch! They didn't invite me to that one either.
you had to have this special bracelet. They gave it to me. I couldn't get the damn thing off for like 3 hours the next day.
Freaking Journey gets no respect from anybody. What the hell?
Yeah.
I don't get into the after party orgy. I don't get into the CGC
Yeah.
party. I don't get into the Whatnot party, and I'm a Whatnot seller. What
Yeah,
the
well,
hell?
I probably won't get invited to the next one, so don't feel bad.
No, and all I have is nice things to say about Whatnot. Go figure.
But
they're on the list.
I always like hanging out with with people at the Comic Cons, and there was you know who Biggie Shack is, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I'm in Chicago, and I'm sitting at the hotel, bar or restaurant or whatnot, and actually I'm just hanging out there for a while. Then like Fire Guy Ryan, who was here earlier, he came and joined me. We ate something together and hung out. And then he took off, and I was just sitting there, just enjoying, kind of people watching. My other friend came by, who's actually from Portland. He's part of the Hero Initiative. He came and sat with me, and we were getting something. And then Chris Claremont walks in, and I know Chris Claremont a little bit, and so does he. And so Chris Claremont came and joined us for dinner. So it was us 3 having dinner together and stuff. And we're just sitting there talking to Chris for an hour or so. And then I get a buzz on my phone. It says that Biggie Shack is here. We're down at the restaurant a block down the street with all the other YouTubers and stuff, like 30 of them and stuff. And so I could politely put my phone down. I looked at Chris Claremont. I said, "This has been fun, but I gotta go see my friend Biggie Shack." So I left Chris Claremont there with my other buddy, and I walked down the street to the other restaurant. There was like 30 of our fellow YouTubers in there. We all just hung out for the night and had a great time.
He must have been a wild dude to hang out with, the Biggie Shack.
Well, I mean, he for some reason he wanted to arm wrestle me. He was like, "I want to arm wrestle Big Bueller." I was like, "I don't know if you want to do that and stuff." And he finally convinced me to arm wrestle, and I'm like, everyone's watching. He's like, "Yeah, I'm ready. And I mean, I almost ripped his arm out of the socket, to be honest.
Well, I just recently found out he's not as big as he looks in.
No, he's not. He was compared to me, he's a little dude.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's not going to go well for you, buddy. And,
I thought it was some kind of Sasquatch in real life from the video, the angles that he's taking. He's like 5'11" ish, something like that.
He's shooting upwards, so it makes him look bigger. But yeah, he's on a very. I mean, I'm 6'4", 300 pounds. 6'5", whatever. I'm a big dude and stuff, and I don't know. He's maybe a foot shorter than I was, and I was like, there's video footage of me that arm wrestling match that's out there on someone's Instagram. It is not favorable towards him at all. I mean, it was over in about a half a second, and he's like holding his arm like, oh, I'm like, sorry, man.
You would probably make me look like a pipsqueak, and I'm 6'1", 6'2".
Well, I'm trying to lean down, so maybe not by the end of the year. So, but yeah, I love hanging out with the people at the cons. That's what I love most about them, is just hanging out with our friends and stuff. And like I said, I told Big Guy, I said, I want you to know that I left Chris Claremont to come hang out with you. And then somebody else said he did. I saw him, and he was sitting there having dinner with Chris Claremont. And he's like, "Oh man, I appreciate that, Bueller," and stuff like that, because I never met Biggie before, and he's been a friend of mine for years and stuff. And I just really wanted to shake his hand and give him a hug and stuff like that. So
that basically reflects the kind of character you have.
Well, that's a moment for me. That's a moment for me, is getting to meet the people that have taken their time to get to know me. I've gotten the opportunity to meet so many people who don't do YouTube, who just watch my channel, and to hang out with them for the day. And for me, that's a moment. That's something special. One of my friends is he doesn't do YouTube. His profile name is Logan Lumpkin. He's now a doctor. He started watching me when he was in medical school, and he said,
interesting names for all your friends.
Doctor. His name is Dr. Lumpkin.
Logan Lumpkin.
he started watching me when he was in med school, and he said, I helped him, relax when he had a test. He just watched one of our shows and stuff like that. And he's now a doctor, and I got to go meet him in Tennessee, and we hung out for the whole day. And for me, it was just like, it was awesome, just getting a chance to, for someone to give me their time, they don't even know me, and watch my videos and support me and all that stuff. And now I get the opportunity to return the favor and go hang out with them, and and hang out and enjoy the day. We had a blast, and I've had so many days like that because of what I'm doing. And that was the goal, is to go and hang out with the people that give me their time. And I'm the only, really honestly, the only YouTuber that gets to do that. And a lot of people like say, I wish I could do what you're doing. Hopefully they get that chance. You just
I
kind
don't
of
know if it's gets to do that. You make the choice of doing that
yeah.
because there could be a lot of people that travel all the time, and a lot of people they just don't care enough to want to meet with some of the community members and that kind of stuff. It's okay, I get it. If you don't want to meet them, you don't want to meet them. But you
Well,
actually want to.
I just had lunch today with one of my viewers today. We had lunch. We went and had pizza today in Albuquerque, and this is the second time I've been got to hang out with him. And he doesn't do YouTube; he just watches the show, and he's watched it for a long time. And he's an awesome guy. And I had a box of comics I gave him for a present. He gave me a box of comics and stuff, and it was great. We spent like 2 or 3 hours just talking. Because I try to be personable and tell me about your family, tell me about you, and get to know him. And I consider him a really good friend, and I got to spend a few hours today. And then next time I come through town, I'll get to be able to do the same thing. So I get to do that almost everywhere I go, and it's freaking awesome, man. It's awesome.
I hear that about a lot. I heard that from a lot of people, Ozzy. That's what I'm avoiding hanging out with the principal people for that reason. Miss So actually asked, did you ever visit Jay's Comics in Illinois?
I don't. It doesn't ring a bell. I didn't get a chance to hit too many comics in shops in Illinois because, man, I'll tell you, that C2E2 wore me out, and I had to get out of there as soon as I can for a break because it was. I was parked in a parking lot. It was like 100 degrees for like 4 straight days. I had no shower, no nothing, and it was just an empty parking lot in the asphalt and stuff. And I was like, man, as soon as I can get out of here, I'm leaving. And I booked, I left, and as far as way that I can get, I did. So,
Ozzy, Canadians are known for being able to drink. I have a stupid question. As I'm looking at you at the bus and you're talking about all your traveling, how do you handle mail?
I have, as far as getting stuff, like if I'm supposed to get stuff from sponsors or whatnot, I let them know, hey, I'll be in Albuquerque at my daughter's for these 2 weeks. If you want to send me stuff, that's a good time to send me stuff. And I've done that at a few different places. I've actually had relatives in Minnesota that I went and visited. I let Black Box Comics know that I was going to be there a certain time, so they mailed it to them. So I do that. As far as my regular mail, I pretty much got everything digital, And then my home address, I just use my mom's address and stuff, and I get stuff there every now and then.
But you have to go there in order to pick it up. That's an element that I didn't really put much thought up until now. That's got to be a little bit of a pain in the ass.
It is sometimes, when I'm supposed to, and I have stuff waiting for me right now, that are just sitting there. They've been sitting there for months and stuff. But the best thing I can do is try to if something is coming my way, just let them know this is where I'll be for an extended period of time, and you can mail it to me there. So that's kind of what I do. That's really the only thing you can do, to be honest.
I guess. I mean, that was a fleeting thought, but looks like we've extended our welcome with the chat. Everybody's dying off as it's going, running over to Roscoe's, running over to Bronze, everywhere else. We said what we have to say. We could say a lot more, but we were not, because we want to save stuff for our part 2 at one point in the future.
There you go.
So I appreciate every single person out there that has been part of the chat now, in the beginning, in between, and on the replays. And any of the new people that have never been to the channel before, I do appreciate you visiting for the first time. It's great seeing new faces and new people. If you haven't subbed up to Bueller, do that, because he's got to make gazillions off of YouTube, and if we don't get him to a gazillion subs, we can't do that. So
There you go.
we got to get there, because we're all on the road to gazillion.
Silly.
Yeah, well, that's what it takes. So I appreciate you very much, Travis. You know that there's always an open door for you on this channel at any time.
I've always enjoyed it, man. I appreciate it.
We always have fun, even though you call me Dick every so often. I didn't forget that, but I call it.
I said it in a nice way. He's kind of a dick.
But you know what? I respect that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Most people do. Yeah. You
I,
gotta
like
be honest.
that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I
I figured you were the type of guy that would appreciate that.
Well, I do.
If I didn't feel that way, I wouldn't say nothing. So I'm a pretty good judge of character. So,
and so am I, and that's why I have you on. Again, you want to give any options for people to be on future interviews? Go ahead.
Yeah, as far as the whatnot thing goes, but people have asked me pretty much everything that needs to be asked. To be honest, there's no new information there. It's behind me. I'm moving on.
You're not going to beat a dead horse.
Yeah, I'm not going to make a month's of content out of that every night and bitch and complain. That's not what I do. I said my case. I followed up with it, an update, and that's it. I'm done, and I just move on to the next thing, because I don't care about what happened in the past. I'm just worried about the future, and the future looks awesome. So I'm excited. And you guys can catch me on Comics with Bueller, the YouTube channel, or Comics with Bueller on Instagram, and more stuff to come. So we're just, even though I'm a year into this journey, there's many years left. So it'll be fun.
Well, I'm glad that you got a lot of years left. I'm glad that we're around the same age group, so we'll be around for the ride together.
There you go.
Hopefully, knock on wood. And that's it. That's it, boys and girls. This is the end of the show. Did you like it? Did you not like it? I don't care, because we did it, and we're gonna have another show after that. If you don't like that one, it doesn't matter. We're gonna have another one after that. And by the way, because Ryan was on here before, I will say publicly, so I could get him not to squirm out of this, he did commit to a future show.
Nice.
A little bit earlier today, he committed that he will do a future show with me. So that should be a lot of fun, actually, having Fire Guy Ryan on.
Nice. He's a great guy. I've known him for 5 years.
Yeah, he's a little quirky. He's a little weird. He's a little fun. He should be a fun interview. So look for that in the future. And I got a couple other people that committed that I'm not going to put their names out there yet. The only reason I'm putting Ryan out there because I want him to stick to it and not squirm away. After he saw this, he might say, "Oh, what the hell is this? I'm not coming in here." No. Now you're stuck. You're committed. You're gonna do this. All right. Good night, people. Thank you. I don't know where you're gonna go, but you can't stay here. Okay. Good night. Good night. Good night. We're done. Say good night, Bueller. Say
good night, Bueller.
Oh.